Joe Bassano, now opposition leader.
We don't like being pushed about. And that the more people try and push us about, the more adamant we are in resisting.
In the shadows of Gibraltar's eastern beach, smugglers are loading up their boats for the dash to Spain. It's an almost nightly ritual.
50 tons is here. It's absolutely outrageous.
Who do you blame for that, Gibraltar or Britain?
Well, I blame both. In fact, I would blame more Britain for it.
Mark lives for the adrenaline surge of the smugglers' boats, which can cut across the water at 120 kilometres an hour.
We are a people with part of our genetic makeup making us determined to hang on to our rock, which is our hope like limpets, and nobody's going to dislodge us from this place.
Authorities work closely with the Spanish police in order to provide them with the necessary intelligence to enable them to apprehend such people.
For many, the Winston trade, as it was coined, became a great source of entertainment. For others, a sheer pastime, and for a few, an exceedingly embarrassing and delicate political issue.
Every frontier town in the world presents special facilities or incentives for smuggling. Most will retain a bad reputation for being a nest of smugglers. It is a cornerstone of borderland life. Gibraltar and La Linea are no exception. In the 40s and 50s, chopped tobacco, commonly called picadura, formed a significant stake in the maritime Hispano-Gibraltarian trade. Later, as the Andalusian smoking palate became more refined and the Spanish economy picked up, the preference shifted towards pre-rolled American cigarettes, especially Winston. In order to set up a smuggling firm, you needed cross-border connections, solid, reliable contacts who wouldn't abort mission during challenging times. Establishing this sort of network was already complex, even in favorable conditions. But when an 8-foot, highly patrolled gate separates you from your potential business partners, it becomes
distinctly complicated.
But that came to an end on the 5th of February 1985, the day the frontier gates were officially and completely thrown open. From then on, Gibraltarians could cross the border and communicate with their Spanish neighbors, which consequently meant that anyone could form a cross-border smuggling gang.
The tobacco firm has been described as ingenious in its simplicity, an attribute which has highly warranted its popularity and success. Its setup demands 3 basic requirements: manpower, a buyer, and a launch. More specifically, a low-hulled, British-made speedboat.
At the peak of the smuggling era, around 700 to 800 young Gibraltarian men were partaking in the surreptitious transfer of tobacco from Gibraltar to Spain.
Most members wore thick gold chains adorned with medallions, bulky, flashy pendants casting the image of keys, coins, daggers, pistols, and the ubiquitous assortment of religious figures.
The smugglers called themselves the Winston Boys. Hailing primarily from underprivileged working-class families, the Winston Boys were determined to prove themselves to their former critics and doubters, regularly flaunting their new status as part of the tobacco fraternity.
Good evening, welcome to this special edition of Newswatch on a Saturday. For the second day running, there have been ugly scenes in Gibraltar following the police operation yesterday against these semi-rigid boats. Around 30 people have been arrested for public order offences.
Excuse me, what's the damage they've done to you?
Well, they've broken all our entire windows, and I don't see why, because we're not even involved in any of this.
The broken glass of the main street, the rioters moved on to other targets. At the North Mole, a police car was attacked by youths in motorbikes wearing balaclavas.
They were just saying, give me back our launches, which everybody knows what's happening with the launches. And
a Molotov cocktail was thrown into the car, which instantly caught fire.
Was satellites near Bayside School in a piece of waste ground. Scenes, of course, like we haven't seen in Gibraltar for quite some time.
Joining me on the line live now from Newmo House Police Station is the Deputy Commissioner Mario Pallas. Mr. Pallas, good evening.
Good evening.
Is the police in control tonight or not?
Yes, at this moment in time we are.
Has the police not botched today's job, Mr. Pallas?
Can you repeat that, please?
Has the police not ruined this job today?
In what sense?
Well, in the sense that there have been chaotic scenes of police brutality, basically.
Well, this is not the case.
Emergency legislation was passed prohibiting the use of large and fast powerboats within Gibraltarian waters. Several resisted. Evidently, there was still a long way to go before Gibraltar could be considered entirely free of smuggling. However, the days of unbridled smuggling were now a thing of the past.